Good morning students. Today I am going to teach about the topic reproduction organisms. So I have finished about the asexual reproduction. Today I am going to teach you about the sexual reproduction. This is the second video for me. And then so what do you mean by sexual reproduction? So in the case of this sexual reproduction, both the male and female gametes will fuse together and formed as a zygote. So the male gamete is having a haploid number of chromosome, and the female gamete is also having a haploid number of chromosome. Both the haploid number of chromosomes will join together and form as a diploid number of chromosomes. So here the zygote will have the diploid number of chromosomes or 2n chromosomes. So this zygote will develop into the new organism. So here this sexual reproduction can be classified into two types, that is syngamy and conjugation. So here syngamy is nothing but fertilization. So what do you mean by fertilization? There is a fusion of both male and female gamete is also called as fertilization. So here this can be classified into two types, external fertilization and internal fertilization. So what do you mean by external fertilization? So here the fertilization process is fusion of both male and female gametes will be occur outside the body of the female organism. So this is also called as external fertilization. For example, if you take the fishes, they will lay the eggs there in the water medium. So the fertilization process will be occurred in the case of water itself. So this is also called as external fertilization. And then internal fertilization, the sense the fusion of both male and female gametes will be occur inside the body of the female organism. So this is also called as internal fertilization. So it will be occurred in the case of a human being. Okay, so different types of syngamy will be present. There is different types of fertilization will be present. What are they? The first one is autogamy, second one is exogamy, third one is hologamy, fourth one is pedogamy, fifth one is monogamy, sixth one is isogamy, and seventh one is anisogamy. So now I want to explain one by one. So what do you mean by autogamy? Auto means self. So here a single organism will produce both male and female gametes. So these gametes will fuse together and formed as a zygote. So this kind of fusion is also called as autogamy. The well-known example for this is Achnophareum and Paramecium. And then the second one is exogamy. If you take this exogamy, both male and female gametes are produced by different organisms. So such kind of fusion is also called as exogamy. So for example, if you take the human being, the male organism will produce a male gamete and then the female organism will produce a female gamete. So this both male and female gametes will fuse together and formed as a zygote. So this kind of fusion is also called as exogamy. And the third one is hologamy. So if you take this hologamy, so this organisms won't produce any male and female gametes. So instead of that, they themselves behave as gametes here. So such kind of fusion is also called as hologamy. The well-known example for this is trichonympha. And then the fourth one is pedogamy. So what do you mean by pedogamy? So here the young individuals that are produced by mitotic cell division will fuse together. So the sexual union of young individuals is also called as pedogamy. And the next monogamy. So what do you mean by monogamy? So here the gametes are smaller in size. So they are morphologically different. So this smaller gametes will fuse together and formed as a zygote. So this union is also called as, this fusion is also called as monogamy. And then the next one is isogamy. So what do you mean by isogamy? Here the similar gametes will fuse together. Similar in the sense they are morphologically and physiologically similar with each other. That is identical with each other. So such kind of fusion is also called as isogamy. The well-known example for this is monocystis. And then next, the last one is anisogamy. So here the fusion of dissimilar gametes is also called as anisogamy. The well-known example for this is higher invertebrates and all vertebrates. And then next, I want to say about the conjugation. So what do you mean by conjugation? It's nothing but a temporary union of two individuals. So here the organisms that are involved in the process of conjugation are also called as conjugants. So during the process of conjugation, they are sharing their genetic material or DNA. And then the well-known example for this is so we can say about the ciliates. So ciliates, the sense the organisms which are having the cilia as their locomotory organ are called as ciliates. So the best example for the ciliate is Paramecium, we can say, on the Verticilla. And the next so here we take the life of all the organisms. So they are having three phases. What are they? There is a juvenile phase, reproductive phase, and senescent phase. What do you mean by juvenile phase? It's a young stage of organisms, we can say. So here it's also called as vegetative phase. And the second one is also called as a reproductive phase. And then it's also called as a maturity phase. So what do you mean by reproductive phase? The young ones will attain the sexual maturity here. So this stage is also called as a reproductive phase. So during this stage they are ready to reproduce. And then next, so based on that time, so the breeders can be classified into two types. What are they? There is a seasonal breeders and then continuous breeders. So seasonal breeders, the sense they will breed and they will reproduce at a particular season alone. So these are called as seasonal breeders. And then continuous breeders, the sense they will reproduce throughout the year itself. So because of that, so they are also called as continuous breeders. And then here I want to say about senescent phase. So this it begins at the end of the reproductive phase. So here during this phase, the functions and the structure of the organisms will disintegrate. So will be destroyed. And then next I want to say about the parthenogenesis. So here parthenos means virgin, genesis means produce. So this parthenogenesis was first discovered by Charles Bonnet in 1745. So here, so what do you mean by parthenogenesis? Here, some of the organisms can be produced by the parent organisms without the act of fertilization. So they won't involve in the process of fertilization. So without the act of fertilization, some of the organisms are produced. So this is also called as a parthenogenesis. So here this can be classified into two types. There is artificial parthenogenesis and natural parthenogenesis. Again, in some kind of organisms, this parthenogenesis occurs regularly, continuously and constantly. So this is also called as a natural parthenogenesis. So this can be classified into two types. There is a complete and incomplete parthenogenesis. If we take this complete parthenogenesis, these organisms will reproduce only through the parthenogenetic method, and there is no sexual method of reproduction here. And then if you take this, there is incomplete parthenogenesis. Both these organisms can reproduce through the sexual method and also by the parthenogenetic method. So for example, we can say about the honeybees. If you take the honeybees, the fertilized eggs will develop into the worker bees and also queen bees, and then unfertilized eggs will develop into the drones. Drones are nothing but these are the males. And then, so if you take this pedogenesis or pedoparthenogenesis, so here the young larvae will produce the next generation. For example, we will take the sporocyst and cercaria larvae of the liver fluke. So they are doing like that. So this is also called as pedogenesis or pedogenetic parthenogenesis. Some of the insects also will involve in this kind of parthenogenesis process. So what are they? There is gallfly, we can say. Gallfly, that is the best and a well-known example for this kind of parthenogenesis. And then next, so here I want to say about the artificial parthenogenesis. So here the unfertilized egg can be induced by chemical or physical stimuli, and then they will produce a new organism. So this is also called as artificial parthenogenesis. For example, we can say about the unrelieved and sea urchin. And then again, this organisms can be classified into three groups. What are they? Oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. Oviparous, the sense, so it includes all the egg-laying organisms, and then so for example we can say about the reptiles and the birds. And the viviparous, the sense, it includes all the viviparous, the sense, it gives birth to young ones. And then the next one is the ovoviviparous. So ovoviviparous, the same. So the eggs will be present inside the body of the female organism. So here it won't lay the eggs, but the eggs will be present inside the female organisms, and then the embryo will develop inside the egg itself. So here there is no placental collection. Then how will they get the nourishment? They will get the nourishment from the egg yolk. And if we take viviparous, they are having the placental collection here. So based on this, they have classified into three types. So oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. The well-known examples for this ovoviviparous is the shark. So with this, I want to finish the first chapter is over.